I can't see you, so I'm hoping you can see me okay. Hi, I'm Maria. Welcome to my channel, or if you're one of the two people who has watched my videos previously, welcome back. How are ya? How's your life going? Is it good? I'm very excited to hear that. I've been making videos on this channel for a couple years now, very sporadically and off and on. But this year I want to be a lot more dedicated to my creative endeavors and things that I've been wanting to do for a while. And we'll get more into that. But one of the main things is booktube. I've loved OG booktube. I've been watching booktube for years and I love books so much. I would love to have, I don't know, the space to talk about it in depth. Obviously there's social media, but social media does kind of scare me. So I thought we can maybe designate this corner of the internet to chatting about books for a while. Okay, that being said, without further ado, I wanted to officially start off this channel with a booktube newbie tag. I'm very much so still a booktube newbie, and I love a tag. I love I love questions. It's the inner buzz feeder in me. I do have the questions on my computer because I'm filming on my iPhone. It's very unprofessional, I'm sorry. So if you see me glancing over here, it's because I'm gonna be looking at the questions. I probably should have prepped it a little bit more, but I haven't glanced at them, so this will be very off the cuff. I really just love romanticizing my reading and having curated little things that I do for series I'm excited for or series that I love, and I just love documenting it. I just won't post it anywhere, and I figured I could do that with you guys over here, and then I can actually go to something. What are you most excited for about this new channel? How cliche would it be for me to say to share my love of reading? I just won't stop talking about the books I'm loving, and I have to in the real world because people would get pretty sick of me. I'm a bookseller. So maybe not that sick of me, it's literally my job. But here, if you click on a video, you want to hear me speak, which is really a crazy concept. So yeah, just to talk about things that I'm really loving, and it'll be books because that is my entire personality. That's all I've got. That and Taylor Swift. It's all I've got. Why do you love reading? This is such a crazy question to me. I started reading when I was 6 maybe, which I know is so late for some people. And I really struggled with it at first, and then once I could read, there was no stopping me. It felt like I had like a secret key to a magical universe, to portals. You know when Taylor Swift says, "I hate it here, so I will go to secret gardens in my mind. People want a key to get to, the only one is mine." That's how I felt. But I mean, even before that, I loved stories. I don't remember a time of my life when I wasn't into this. I think books can make you feel so seen, like you belong somewhere other than the world that you're in. And I just think that's so lovely. It's maybe you're not exactly where you want to be in your life. Maybe you're discontented in a way. And books are like a balm for that. It's just my favorite thing in the world. Such a cool thing. Just all of it. All the reasons. Which book or series got you into reading? I think the first book that I read that had a girl as the heroine was probably The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, and I was so into that book. And then I read A Little Princess by the same author, and that was, I think, the first time I felt seen in a book. I just resonated with Sarah Crew so much. And then Jane Eyre was read to me when I was like 9. By a school teacher. Thank you for that. And that was like, I loved Jane. The plot was so cool. But I think like the first time I felt like really enamored by worlds, and I think this is probably my first ever fantasy. It was like the first time I felt, I don't know, homesick for a place that didn't exist. Right, if you will, was Harry Potter. I absolutely love that series. And I still do feel like those characters grew up with me. Hermione Granger, like my first ever soul character. I mean, okay, maybe Sarah Cruz, my first ever soul character, but like, oh, she was up there. Hermione, that, altered my brain chemistry. Still does. I remember when I was younger, and I was like watching all that drama unfold. I was so seated. Henny too. Kissing her was better than butterbeer. That had a visceral reaction for me. I read that scene in public. That was just so wild to me. I'm literally wearing the Common Room Shop's Golden Trio sweatshirt right now. Harry Potter, fangirl to my core. I just don't want to get into it too much, but JKR's transphobia will always be so fresh in my heart. I've tried to distance myself from the fandom in the past, but it just feels like letting her win. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to booktube? I'm a bookseller. It's my job to read and recommend books. It is like a dream job. I love it so much. I have a lot of books by authors that I love that like I feel like no one talks about, and I would just like love to talk about that. For the author's sake, for my sake, for your sake, they're great books. You should read them. I love, like I said, OG booktube. It was so good, and I'd love to bring some of that like cozy, nostalgic vibes to contemporary booktube. Yeah, just like have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, settle down. I feel like it was also like so heavy on fantasy, and like peak fantasy too, like magic and mages, and I've been reading a lot of backlist titles from that time too, and it's just been the most fun. So I'd love to, I don't know, recommend you guys something that brings you back to that. What questions would you ask your favorite booktuber? Oh, and if I was talking to Hallie Bush, I think I'd say, so how do I get to your level of fame? Actually, I just got done watching one of my favorite booktubers, and it's Hallie Bush. Spoiler alert. I'm wearing her sweatshirt right now. She's so good. My best fangirl era was probably like, also kind of like the worst mental health era, but we'll take the wins we can get, and that was 2021. So like fully in the pandemic, but I was rereading the Harry Potter series. It was just like so fun. My friends were into it. So like we just like only talked about Harry Potter. We were clearly very cool people in high school. It was really great. I'd love to experience something like that again. Oh, I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue in like a night, and I was like spiraling. What an era. What an era. Red Taylor's version came out. I guess it was 2022. But that moment in time, it was legendary. It was momentary. It was necessary. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Editing, like no question about that. I'm so bad with technology. I'm really bad. I'm not good at it. I know books, and that's all I know. It's so scary, but I'll do my best. If you bear with me, you are such a trooper. Here, have my cup of tea. You deserve it. I also think I'm not great about doing things I want to do. I'm good about doing things I need to do. I think like the commitment. Yeah. I'm gonna say I'll post like once a week. I'm putting that out into the universe. So you can definitely come at me if I don't do that, if you care. Okay. When did you start reading? I think I answered this already, but I learned to read when I was 6. That was pretty much a non-stop thing for me. I've always read. I think I kind of like fell off a little bit. I still read, but like less at the beginning of high school, maybe even like late middle school, and that was when I finished the Harry Potter series, and I was left in like what I didn't know at the time was a massive reading slump. Nothing ever compared. I think the only thing that really got close were the Kane Chronicles and what I now know it as the James Patterson Angels series. I just needed a bookseller or like an older sister to just like wrap me in a hug and tell me it's gonna be okay, here's what you have to read instead. And so now I love my job because I get to like look kids in the eye and they're like, I just finished Harry Potter, or I just finished Percy Jackson, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, it's okay, I've got you. But yeah, I didn't have that, so I think I was just like coasting through. I read some books here and there that were great, but like I definitely read less. Books have always been such an important part of my life. I wanted to be a writer in some capacity for as long as I can remember, so I always read, but just less so. And I think it wasn't until I was like 16 and Book Talk started that I like got back into it full force. And now here I am as a bookseller. It's very exciting. Coffee shops are peak for reading. I love going to like a coffee shop and ordering an oat cappuccino, just like sitting down with my book. It's truly the most like sacred time, and it's such a treat. Yeah, love doing that. I'm reading the Emma and Lyon books right now, and Emma is such a nature enthusiast that like when I'm reading this, I love to like touch grass as I'm doing so. I'll sit on my balcony and I'll watch the trees and the birds, and I'll like read my book as I connect with Emma. So that's really nice, but for the most part I just do a lot of reading here. I light my candles and I get my cozy drinks and I do my reading. I love having like a reading nook, you know? So like here I can like sit and I'll look at my books. They're just like so pretty to look at. I like wanted to do like a setup situation of like where you could see it, but just like living in a studio apartment, there's not much in terms of like angles there, so it's like I sit here and I look there. So I'm sorry that you're missing out on this, but there's some good shelves looking back at me. What kind of books do you like to read? When I first started reading, I was reading, like I said, a lot of like classics or children's classics, or just things that my mom liked that she was peddling off on me. And then I just like whatever I could get my hands on. And then once I read Harry Potter, I realized like, oh, this is like a whole new like thing with like magic and stuff. There's magic in books. I was very excited. So I was like definitely like a fantasy and dystopian kick for a while. When I was growing up, everything was dystopian and everything was fantasy, and it was awesome. When I was about like 14, I went on like I got into my John Green lit fic stage, and that kind of carried me through a little. I would sprinkle in some fantasies that I enjoyed, but for the most part, a lot of it was like more about understanding myself versus like escaping my surroundings. And I read like, I'm an English major, so we read a lot of the literary canon, and I really did get engrossed in that. I read like only classics and lit fic and poetry and some philosophy up until I was like 19 and I like rediscovered fantasy, starting with Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, which is to this day one of my favorite books. That is, if you're not into fantasy, just give that book a shot because it has everything that you could want in a fantasy novel. It's set in a magical library, and after that it was just like kind of fantasy non-stop. I was like reading for the same reasons I read as a kid, and that was just like really lovely to me. Now I love anything with like a historical setting too. I love like a historical fantasy or a historical fiction. Anything with like a Victorian woman going against Victorian constraints in a corset with a man with a with a lovable sidekick who is a man who is very attractive and easy on the eyes. I don't know. And she's read too many books and they have turned her brain. You know, just if that, anything that has that plot description, I will eat it up. Yeah. It's very specific, but it is what I love. But I'll read anything, I think. Well, that's not true. I'll read YA fantasy a lot. A lot. It's so good. I love magic. Just put me in a magic school, take me to school, sit me down. What are we learning today? Just fantasy. It's so fun. So fun. Books about books. I'm not answering the question. Fantasy, books about books. Anything with Victorian women. They were really cool. Actually, I don't know that for a fact. I don't know Victorian women, but the ones I read about are really cool. And I think that was our last question. Thank you guys so much for bearing with me. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to stick around and go on this little bookish journey with me. I promise it'll be filled with coffee and chaos, but it will be fun. I'll try to link my Goodreads down below if I can figure out how to do that. And I recently joined this app called Margins, which I think I have 4 book trackers. I know, that's insane, I know. But I do love tracking things. Just tell me who I am so I don't have to figure it out, please. And they do that. But my coworker told me about this app called Margins, and it is the best series tracker. Sorry. The best book tracker I have ever used. So I'll link that down below as well if you guys want to follow me on there or join yourselves. But it's great. I also think it doesn't have any AI because one of the founders is anti-AI, which I think is the take that readers should have. So I'll be linked down below. I'm not on Instagram a lot. I will be here once a week. Thanks again so much for watching. I'm so sorry about my ramblings. Hopefully editing me can cut some of that out in post so you don't have to listen to it. But I'm stuck with myself, so I do have to listen to it. It's lovely hanging out with you. Cheers. Until next time, happy reading.